And can you give us some examples that maybe Grasshopper Group or that you've seen other small business owners use marketing partnerships?
Yeah. So one example for us would be we work very closely with Andrew Warner from Mixergy. And so he does a show very similar to this. He essentially interviews very successful entrepreneurs and has this very genuine, like, hour conversation with them. And it's unbelievable, right? And the whole thing, I'm going to use the word again, but it's very genuine. Like, so if there's like technical difficulties, he doesn't like cut it out. You know what I mean? And so he had never had sponsors on his website. And me and him had worked together just because we're both entrepreneurs in the community. And essentially, he's like, would you be interested in sponsoring the show? And I said, you know what, we don't really like traditional sponsorships at all. And then he let me know that he was actually moving from the United States to Buenos Aires and wanted to find a way to stay in touch with his community. And so he asked for a Grasshopper phone number that he could turn on for 1 hour a week. And customers and people in his community could call him and reach out to him even though he had moved. And so he actually started to like really almost live and understand, like, basically like this system was helping him stay connected, which is one of the huge value adds, right? And so we ended up sponsoring it because now when he talks about it, he's not like, hey, you got to check out Grasshopper, one of my sponsors. He's like, Grasshopper is freaking awesome. Like, it helps me do this, like, and it's so genuine that I tell you every single, I don't remember the last week in our, like, how did you hear about us data that someone hasn't said Mixergy. Every single week we get at least one person who's like, we heard about you through Mixergy, because it's so genuine and it's so real. And then so I would just say one more thing, Mar, it's just that we've kind of taken the approach of, and so there's nothing wrong with like one big partnership. So you partner with like a huge company and you get tons of exposure, but we've kind of taken the approach of, let's create relationships with other really cool entrepreneurial companies like FreshBooks, like MailChimp and Less Accounting and Wufoo, and like these cool companies that are just like us, because at the end of the day we're servicing the same customers, and if we support each other's products, we kind of almost create this network of, okay, if you need to start up a company, here are the companies that really care about what you're doing. Here are the companies that are offering a fair price point, and like, if you call them up, a human's going to pick up the phone and help you out, you know what I mean? So we've kind of taken the approach of constantly trying to help other cool companies like ours, because having them on your side is like really powerful.
And that's part of that. What you stand for, the Grasshoppers, empowering the entrepreneurs on all levels. Now,
Exactly.
when you can't give it, then you provide another company that can provide them with services. Then, right?
Yeah, and all the time, I can't tell you how often myself and one of the founders, David Hauser, like, we just connect entrepreneurs that we meet. Like, we were at an event on Thursday, and someone was looking for a different resource, and they're probably not going to use our product. But David was like, opened up his contact book and made connections. If you are looking for a connection and you're not going to ask that person for money, like, you're not trying to sell them something, we'll connect you to anyone we know. Because the point is like, even though you don't need our product, you probably know people who do. Yeah. And so we constantly want to do anything we can to help entrepreneurs in the community like that.
Excellent. Yes, it's wonderful. And also, what do you think is the most important aspect when you do one of these marketing partnerships?
Yeah, so this is interesting because this is something I was actually talking with someone last night about. And it might sound a little idealistic, but it's really important that both sides see see the advantage in it, and it's really adding value to all parties. Like, I can't tell you, literally every single conversation that I have, I try and make sure that even if I'm talking with a customer or someone in the press or a partnership, that everyone who I'm talking to sees value in what we're doing. Everyone I'm talking to has like a positive outcome that comes from this. Because if we create a partnership and you want to partner with me, but you see that your company isn't getting as much value from me, you're not going to push it. It's not going to be something that you care about. And when you talk about it with your customers and your community, it's going to sound disingenuous. So like, I really go out of my way to make sure that I'm adding the most value to other companies as possible. And I'll make sure, right, because I can control getting value from my company. That's something that I can control. So I kind of worry about that last, because I know that I'll just bust my ass and figure out a way to get value out of it for us. But always making sure that the other people you engage with see the value very, very clearly, because that will be the driving force behind kind of motivating them to talk about you.
Yeah, that's a good point. That way they both Like sometimes one person could be more convinced, but if you're doing that, then they would love to do it, right? Because it's totally win-win for both sides, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Like,
Great.
You got to look out for other people first a little bit, because at the end of the day, you'll always look out for your own business, right?
That's always
Right. That's all. That's what it comes down to, you know.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jonathan, for this wonderful information.
Delicious cappuccino.
You're welcome. Now you can learn more about Grasshopper Group by going to grasshoppergroup.com, right?
Exactly.
Excellent. So check it out. And thanks again for being here, Jonathan.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thank
you
you.
very much.